Game started.
Talikas from Côte d'Ivoire. The Ivory Coast, I think that means. Côte d'Ivoire? D'Ivoire, I don't know. Okay, we got a French defense here. And I'll play knight c3 and see if he wants to go with the classical or the Winawer. Okay, so I've been playing this line in the Winawer. Oh, he's ignoring it. Actually, that was the fingerslip line. Oh my. I meant to play a3 there. Instead of bishop d2, so I was completely confused about what I was playing. So he can take here now. And win a pawn. But he chose not to do that. See, if I take, now he's got an isolated queen's pawn and the bishop is holding the square in front of it. So let's reinforce that. We're going to try and prevent this pawn from advancing. And castle. Maybe get a rook on the d file. Well, it'll take a little bit of maneuvering. I have to get the queen to a good square somehow. Actually, queen d4 hits the bishop. Might be interesting. Not that the queen would stay on d4 very long. He could stop that with knight c6. He can castle. So if I play queen d4, is he going to retreat the bishop? I mean, then the queen can come over here to h4 maybe. It's not such a crazy idea, I don't think. So he doesn't have time to play knight c6. Yeah, I can put the bishop over here. And then I can win a pawn here right away. Rook there, knight c6 forks the rook and the queen, so I can't do that. Or can I? So rook here, knight c6, rook takes rook, knight takes queen, rook takes queen, rook takes rook, bishop takes knight. I think I can do it. We'll see if I calculated that right. I mean, knight c6 is a hard to resist move. It might have been better with the other knight, because then I wouldn't have this trick. So if he just takes back, then I've won a pawn and now I retreat my queen. Can't take here. If I come here to hit the bishop, he has to retreat it or defend it with a pawn or take the knight. He could do that. Yeah, this is a pawn that can't easily be defended over here. Let's see, do I want to play bishop to d3? Bishop takes, pawn takes. And knight here. Maybe that's okay. And then knight to d4 at the end. Oh, he didn't do that. So gonna drop the queen back. Knight g5 is not a threat because he can just take it. And I don't have something. If I had something on this square, g7, that might be interesting because the bishop's already there. Let's see. So bishop takes, hitting the queen, and it's defended. So that was that queen move, defended his knight. Pawn here. It's a bit risky. But he would have to move the knight, and then I could take the bishop and well, he could play knight. He could just play knight back to D or E. 7. Okay, he's hitting my bishop. Gotta retreat. I'll just check here if it's any good. He can block with the bishop, or he can move the king. Or I could play knight to h4, hitting his knight. Knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Don't know how that goes. Oh, he's really reinforcing that d pawn. Okay. Let's try this. Get the knight out of the way. That knight is kind of gumming up the works. Okay, rook, bishop, and queen against rook, knight, and queen. He's going after this pawn. So I can defend it and also get the queen on the g file and get the queen away from the knight. And this threatens something, doesn't it? Not a lot. He can just play g. He can just play g6 or g5 or knight back. Okay, but if he plays the knight back, then he's not threatening the pawn anymore. He's threatening the b pawn. So let's see, h4, h5, harassing his knight. So if he takes my bishop, I play h5. And also, I was wanted to play that because it gives an escape square for my king too. So now my rook can move forward at some point without me getting mated on the back row. I was thinking I could win a pawn here, you know, pawn takes knight, pawn takes, queen takes, but he can just move his king to g7 and defend everything. And, well, I could throw in the check. Check here. The knight is pinned, but he could go here with the king to attack the rook. Okay, so I take first. Then I can play the check.
Check.
Get my rook to a good square. And it's not defended there, so back here maybe. So he's got some checks. He can win a pawn. He can check my king over to this square. And
check.
I'm threatening to take on g6 still. That's my idea. Take on g6 and mate. Because this check drove his king back. And right now there's no more checks. The queen can come back right to that square, which is good. A good square. I should probably just trade queens, right? I don't have a check. And these pawns should be pretty dangerous. And his king is kind of tied up. So I can go check.
Check.
and bring the pawn one step forward. And let's see, he can actually move his king to d7, because if I play rook here, he takes with the rook, I go check, his king can then go to that square, yeah. So this is safe. But I might be able to win the king and pawn endgame with effectively an outside passed pawn. So check here. King goes here to defend the rook, and I take. Then I bring my king over. I'm going to attack his undefended e-pawn. Oh, he's going to stop me. Let's see if he can do this. So, how's the best way to stop these pawns? If I have two pawns holding these guys back, this eventually should be a winner here. So, pawn here he takes. Pawn here he advances. But if he takes, pawn here maybe he can push his pawn forward, then I advance. If he pushes the other pawn forward, I kind of like pawn all the way to... yeah, pawn to g4. He can either push or take, and if he takes, then I've got one pawn holding 3. Then I come over here and defend this pawn and drive his king back. So it may turn into a race. I have to get over here to defend this pawn. But he can't attack my pawn, so he's stuck here, and he has to decide what to do over here. It's nice how these pawns sort of defend each other. This pawn is guarding this square, this pawn is guarding this square. The king guards this square, so he can't get to my pawn. And eventually he'll give ground, and then I'll be able to... yeah, let's just shore this up first. So if he takes, I'll take back, and that's an even more secure blockade over here. It runs him out of moves. Then I go here. He has to move back or move his pawn forward. I'll just keep shuffling until he moves back or moves his pawn forward, and then I can gradually creep forward. Or will I? If I go here, I wonder if this is a draw. Let's see, if I push the pawn check and he goes beside it, what do I do then? Then I have no moves. Okay, I'm going here so I can go out the other side. I'll try this idea. Okay, well, he gave up a little too easily there. I think he could have held me off, but we can look at that in the postmortem, see if there was a drawing idea there. So each time he gets in front of the pawn, I can always move sideways and then
check,
drive him back. And then I can come over here and get this pawn. And two pawns are better than one. Okay, so now he's racing, but This is a race I will win, because I'm just that much closer. He's got to win the pawn, and then he's got to push these forward, so I'm getting a queen already here. And what's the easiest way to do this? I can win one pawn. And then, let's see, let's
check.
Try some blockading moves. Yeah, force his king in front of the pawn and then get this pawn going forward. If he pushes the pawn, I will pin it here. So
check.
I'll just go ahead and do it the easy way. You know, if you do it right, you can keep harassing
resigns.
the king and then bring your king over and win with just the queen. You don't need the extra pawn.
Incoming challenge.
But the simplest way here is to just give up the queen and queen the other pawn. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed that. I will do a post-mortem as usual. See you guys later. Bye.